Hey everybody, welcome to the monthly Astrology Snapshot. I'm Paula Shaw and I'm going to take you through the main themes for this lunar month, beginning at the new moon in Leo on the 8th of August everywhere in the world. Now this new moon is right in the middle of two full moons in Aquarius. So the second full moon coming in this lunar month is actually going to be a blue moon, and which is just two full moons in the same sign. So that is letting us know that we're in a really strong Aquarius season. And I want to speak a little bit about that because Aquarius can be really complex, not complicated in a negative way, but we are moving more and more into Aquarian times on this planet. The universe and reality, life is becoming more complex. That doesn't have to be a problem. However, we must adapt to navigate this. And to do that, we need to access our intuition. And really, intuition is not some cosmic, mystical ability that some people have and it's a gift. Intuition is fundamental to every human. What it really is a refined ability to discern what's going on, to make a judgment. And I don't mean judgmental as in good, bad, right, wrong, but to make a call. You know those moments where you don't know how you know, you just know? That's the real intuition. And to me, that intuition isn't some mystical, random access to a solution or an insight. It's like, imagine a computer and it's calculating behind the scenes all these calculations, putting together all these pieces of knowledge, this complexity of bits of information and data and projections and this and that, and it's doing it fast. Computers are getting faster, just like the universe and our reality. And then it gives you this result. That's what our intuition is. It's a combination of all of our senses coming together, what we see, what we hear, taste, smell, feel, what we've researched. I mean, this is a time, we've got this technology. Go and look up information, source out truth, fact, knowledge. It's also our emotions as well come into this. So all of our senses are working together to create this sense, this experience of, oh, I know what I need to do, our intuition. There's so many moving parts. It does feel as though, like I said, the universe is becoming more complex. It's connecting more dots. It feels as though there's more information, data, more going on every second. And if we aren't opening ourselves and being available to navigating the complexities of life, we won't be able to be sovereign. We will only be able to go with what we're told or what others are doing, and we won't be able to form that really refined sense of our own life. We won't be able to. And this new moon in Leo is, the new moon in Leo is always about sovereignty, your own sense of individuation. And so is Aquarius. They speak to individuation in their own ways, a little bit differently, both of them. But Leo is about the inner queen and king archetype within each one of us. It is that ability to know that we are God, that we are part of this whole story. This new moon does have a hard aspect coming from Uranus, which is the modern day ruler of Aquarius. And Uranus it's in a hard aspect. So it's throwing in some wobbles, some interruptions, some pattern interrupts. The positive of this could be some, unexpected twists and turns and realizations that really support you in your ongoing future narrative, or, how you're dealing with this complexity. But basically, this new moon is an invitation to access love, to work with love, to trust the divine plan, to Open your heart, be generous. So if someone's struggling in your world, go and give them some love and support. This is the open-hearted, beautiful expression of Leo at its maximum, highest expression. So then the full moon in Aquarius. So this full moon, like I said, it's the second one. So we're in an ongoing story around opening ourselves to new paradigms, opening ourselves to the complexity of life, opening ourselves to looking this month at what if there were some positive things to come from this current pandemic, the current situation. What if new technology is going to be adapted and evolved, and what if there's, through all the hardship and the trauma, what if we are forced to restructure everything? Aquarius is about structure, but it's not structure in the old way that we've been living, as in it's top down, trickle down, vertical hierarchies, which I talk about all the time. Aquarius is interested in structure that cares about humanity. It cares about equity. And equity isn't equal. Equity is the fairer, more appropriate distribution of wealth, knowledge, power, resources, all the resources. And fairer is not necessarily, it's definitely not everyone getting the same. And to be able to distinguish what that is common sense on one level, but it's also taking into account more of these complexities of life, which is, what we're being forced to look at now. We're connecting as a global community, whether we like it or not. And this is so Aquarius energy, which, really was kicked off last year. And it really does look like we are moving into the age of Aquarius. You think about the symbol of Aquarius, it's the waves. So it's the information through the field, the technology, the digital radio waves, it's not just water. And the complexity, again, these structures that Aquarius wants to bring in, like I said, it takes into account more than just, well, you're a man and you're white and that therefore this. It's taking into account more of the subjective story, and then finding a way to distribute all of our resources in a way that's really appropriate, rather than funneling millions of dollars to a small group of humans. I hope that this Aquarius energy that's coming in does something to disrupt that, does something to align that. If astrology is true in forecasting cycles, which it's proving to me more and more to be the case, that there is some truth in these seasons and cycles, then something interesting will happen with this. I think there'll always be hierarchy, where there's wealthier, but not this extreme disproportionate dynamics that we're dealing with now. Maybe I'm just being idealistic. I'm not going to apologize for that, but I really feel there's a potential that this Aquarius age we're moving into will look at this equitable, reciprocity, dissemination, spreading out of communities, pods across the world, connecting in new ways as in like all the dots connecting, it's like we could have little communities that live across the world, using the resources more appropriately, but they're still connected to the world. They're not, these spaced out hippie communes that are separating from each other. Technology, Aquarian energy can really help us explore radically new and innovative ways of being human. Aquarius is humanitarian. It does care about humanity. The symbol of Aquarius is the water bearer, pouring the water down into earth from the cosmos. The ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and he is the lord of the sky, of the heavens. There's something, this is the intergalactic, we've had the UAP disclosure in this Aquarian time, like it's happening, and this new moon is right in the middle of that with Uranus and hard aspect. It's uncomfortable. Change is never comfortable. And if you fear change, then this is a hard time for you. And we must surrender fear, and we must let go of it going back. Things are not turning back to the way they were. Things are going to keep progressing and evolving. And yes, there will be a shadow. Of course there is, always. However, if you open your heart in the Leo new moon, practicing that openness, like I can be with this, trusting in the plan, looking between the cracks where the new paradigms are emerging and aligning yourself with that, this could be a really cool time. Now, I am not dismissing the people that are sick and suffering and businesses that are struggling. I am so sorry if that's you and you're listening. I really am. And this is a moment to just keep opening and knowing that something bigger is shifting, that the dynamics and the patterns are changing, and that the world will shift out. I feel that long term, this year is still volatile. I feel there is this big aspect I've spoken about in the previous videos at the end of this year that pulls the pressure back in again. And then next year it's separating, but it's still in action. It's still influencing actually all of next year. It's not as intense, but it really feels to me like reality saying, we have to change. We have to evolve. We can't skip a step here, and we can't go back to the way it was. So my prayer for everybody is to just keep opening your mind, keep trusting your intuition and developing it. It's not cosmic, guys. Intuition is basic human experience. Think of it, like I said, as where all your senses come together and it all clicks in that moment, and you're not aware that you've been looking at the body language of that person or reading all of the different parts of a storyline leading up to an email, and you're like, but I just feel this. It's not feeling and emotional. Emotions actually get in the way of it, and too much logic can take out the creative aspect of intuition. But I feel that to navigate the complexity as we evolve, we have to navigate the complexity of how we operate. We're not just this simple, one-dimensional consciousness. We're multi-dimensional beings. And I don't mean we're half alien. I mean, maybe we are, but I mean that there's more going on in here. And if you never stop and look at it and get to know what's going on inside you, how are you going to know that? How are you going to activate and turn on your ability to be with the complexity of even just your own brain and the technology that's available? I think it's exciting times. I think it's scary as well. Change always is. It's not comfortable. It never is, because we at a primal level fear change, because basically right now I'm alive, sitting here talking to you. So why would I change that? Because what if I disrupt it and I die? It's primal. It's a survival thing. The fear of change is just a misunderstanding. But once you go beyond the fear of change, you can move with it all. You can open yourself to the changes. Even if things are going bad for you, it will change. And you can make yourself available to seeing it from another perspective. So really, this lunar month, practice listening to your intuition. Now, the full moon in Aquarius is conjunct Jupiter. Yay! Jupiter is the great benefactor. He brings blessings. He does like to expand everything as well, but he brings blessings to us and he wants to help us see some higher spiritual truths here. So I have a feeling this full moon will be really uplifting, starting off with this new moon in Leo that's going to have a bit of a kick to it. But, work with the divine plan, open your heart, and really practice being with the complexity and keep looking for the good parts of this. I think some good things are going to come of this pandemic. I mean that very sincerely. And, look for it. Okay, everybody, I am sending you all so much love, and I will see you again next month.